What's up, guys? We are back with another Star Wars SH Figuarts review. We're digging into some Episode 9 stuff finally. We're taking a look at the new trooper that will hopefully do something noteworthy in this movie. So, of course, we're taking a look at the Sith trooper. We've got him here in our standard retail box packaging for the line. So, figure in the big window. You've got him showcased there with all of his accessories. Product shot on the side, and then a bunch of product shots on the back, as well as a little bit of a cross-sell with Kylo Ren. So, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our Figuarts Sith Trooper. So we've got, this is our third 6-inch-ish scale figure for this particular guy. We've got two Black Series, the carbonized and regular, and now we've got this one. And this guy is, he's a Figuarts, obviously, so he's got a little bit more articulation going on. There is some weirdness going on with some of his articulation, though, but I do think that we have a really solid-looking figure. I always get one of these, and then I just get a little dismayed by the fact that I can't really spring for a bunch of Figuarts troopers. I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars on a handful of troopers, but I would love to have a few more of these guys. So let's take a look and see how this guy moves around. He does have some kind of odd limitations. So the head can look that far up, and it can look that far down, and most of that is really the neck moving, not so much the head. The head really doesn't do a lot. It just sort of swivels mostly. It has a movable neck underneath. The shoulder pads do come up a little bit, so you can move them around to help articulate those arms so they go out far enough. They rotate at the shoulder. You've got bicep swivels. You've got double jointed elbows, but they really only go 90-ish degrees. They don't go any further than that because they hit. You've got your ball hinges at the wrist, so you've got really good range of motion there. And then, of course, you can swivel side to side. You've got your torso cuts all the way around. He moves really nicely this way, especially forward. And then he's got a good side-to-side bob action. There is a waist twist. It's really, really squeaky, though. But he hits because he's kind of an oblong shape, so he hits, and he only goes about that far. I wouldn't really push it too much more than that, personally. Legs go out about that far. You've got movable flaps over here if you need to move them. I don't really find that you need to. They kick forward pretty much all the way for a guy in a suit of armor. He goes backwards. He's got a thigh cut. He does have double jointed knees, but they're also kind of limited. They go back a little bit less than I would have expected. And then you've got rotation down at the ankles. You've got hinge. He goes forward, but he doesn't go backwards at all. There is a lip back here that he really cannot go past, and that's a huge bummer for me because he has no back kick on that. And then you've got a true rocker down here, and you've got toe articulation, but it's kind of wasted because he can't move that ankle back. So he is pretty well articulated, but he has some weird limitations, the head and the feet in particular. Now, as far as the overall look and feel on this guy, I've already kind of explained in the Black Series reviews that I do like this design for this trooper. I like the subtle changes between a normal First Order Stormtrooper and the Sith Trooper, and I love red troopers, and it's cool to finally get one in Figuarts form. This guy is in kind of an in-between space between the Black Series as well, because the regular release I don't think is the right color. It's a little bit too flat, and then the carbonized color is what I kind of wish that the figure's going to look like, or the character's going to look like in the movie, but he's probably not. He's more likely going to look a lot more like this, a very candy red. He's likely not going to be metallic, which is a bit of a bummer because I still dig that carbonized look. But this is probably as close as it's going to get as far as finish goes. I think it's the right shade of kind of crimson red, and it's got a really candy coating feel to it. All of the sculpt work is there. You've got all of that little line work, the etching that's in there. So it's kind of subtle, but you can see it kind of pick up on the lights when you move him. So he's not just a flat surface, and I really like that. Some of that angular design that's kind of not the standard for a First Order Stormtrooper, so I like that's a little different. Again, you've got like these movable pouches over here to help with articulation, but just, as part of the belt. And then you've got the movable shoulder pads, which do help, but also kind of allow you to move him and pose him a little bit better. Oh, I should also mention that he does have butterfly joints as well. I always forget that, but they do. So you've got those there. But just like the greebling on his design looks really good. All of the line work, all of the little etchings, all of the little bits and bobs and doodads, Stormtrooper-esque stuff on this guy really, really shines. And for me, really, though, it all comes down to the finish. It's all about this color. And he kind of falls, like I said, he falls into that middle space between the Black Series where I think he's a little bit more screen accurate just based on the finish and the hue, but he maybe isn't as cool as the carbonized trooper because, I just like that one. But he has a fantastic solid sculpt here. Really, really digging it. I think it's an edge up above the Black Series just based on some of its more profound line work inside, and just a little bit better in terms of how some of that color and sculpt come through. And then you've got the bucket up top, which I think is pretty fantastic just in a general sense. I like all the lines that run down the head, down the face, and onto the mouth. I get a really kind of Phase 2 clone vibe when I look at the eyes on this guy, and that wins it for me right then and there. You've got a little bit of sculpted detail inside the head as well, just a little bit of stuff that gets picked up by the light. Little touches of black paint, and then of course you've got the black mouth and the black eyes. Just a solid design. I'm a big fan of this head sculpt, this helmet sculpt in general, so to get it with this finish and this hue and this deep, deep crimson red is just a little icing on the cake for me right now. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy does have a little bit more than your Black Series counterparts, unless, of course, we're counting the SDCC set, which has all of the First Order lawn equipment and Jaws of Life and all that kind of stuff. So to begin with, he has got 6 total hands. You've got the fists that he comes with in the box. You've got a set of trigger finger or finger pointing hands, depending on how you want to use them. And then you've got a set of gripping hands for holding the barrel of a gun. As far as guns go, he has a handful. So you've got the new kind of standard blaster rifle here, which is better sculpted, better detailed, a little more cleanly applied when it comes to paint applications on this guy. And then you've got the new kind of smaller gun here, which also has a lot of paint on it, honestly, and the detail on this thing is pretty solid. I'm really happy with this one in particular. But you've also got kind of the bonus accessory for the non-standard gun. So you've got the big monster kind of heavy blaster cannon, which has the movable viewfinder thing here, so you can move that around. And then it's also got the detachable bottom because it doubles as the kind of heavy cannon, which has the tripod mount. So you can pop that guy down there and set it on the ground, and then you can have him kneeling with that. So you've got 3 total guns, 4 different uses, and then 6 total hands. Now, in addition to all this stuff, this is something that's kind of extra. I don't really know what the situation is with these. I'm assuming these are pre-order bonuses to actually get a hold of these. So there is some sort of campaign going on for Figuarts regarding the new Episode 9 releases, or at least the current stuff going on. And this particular figure came with a First Order logo Tamashii stand with an arm as well. And I know there's a Rebellion one also. So this is pretty cool. I like getting stands with my figures anyway. I don't think you're always going to be able to get this. It's not a guarantee. So this is kind of extra, which is why I'm not talking about it with the stuff that comes stock in the box. But it is really cool, and of course it's the same kind of stand you would expect to get. It's got the peg holes for the arm, and then you pop that bad boy in there and hoist your trooper up. And of course, here is our comparison between the Black Series and Figuarts. So we've got the Black Series on the outer edges and the Figuarts in the middle. And there's a lot to compare against, but there's really not when it's just taking face value, just the looks, the general aesthetics. Obviously, this guy is very different, and I'd be lying if I said that I didn't like this the best. Something about this incredibly metallic, candy-coated trooper really does it for me. But in comparison to the Black Series, this guy is a little bit more consistent in his finish. It's a little bit more glossy, and this guy is just he's a little flatter when it comes to the color, the hue, the sheen. Otherwise, though, they are pretty similar, and they're not too far off in terms of height either. The Figuarts is a little bit small, but otherwise, the main difference is going to be added articulation in the Figuarts in some areas, whereas the Black Series have better ankle articulation, stuff like that. The overall figure is, of course, a little bit better articulated, and then accessories. So overall, this guy is pretty solid. He's got a few shortcomings when it comes to articulation in a few places. The head, the neck, and then the ankles are definitely kind of a bummer for me on that backswing. Otherwise, though, I do think he looks really solid. Like I said, he is kind of probably what we're going to see on screen. I don't expect we're going to see some really shiny metallic carbonized troopers on screen, but I expect we're going to see some really high gloss red troopers, and that's what this guy is. He's a really, really candy-coated, hard shell kind of trooper, and that's what I really like. I love the clean, crisp finishes on Figuarts troopers, and this guy absolutely delivers it. Not to mention the fact that I've said it before, I love red troopers of any kind, so you've got me right there out of the gate, and then he comes with a solid array of accessories. So the only real downside for me here ultimately is that I don't like to army build Figuarts, because I'd love to have at least one more of these guys. So that's going to do it for this look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Sith Trooper. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.